Good morning, Thursday, July 2nd. We are back live with another MLB breakdown video. Wow. I've made some discoveries overnight that I'm going to go over. I'm pretty excited for it. But first, let's go ahead and see what we got going. We got some activity here. Ilnote with the 5-stream streak. I appreciate that. CW with the 55 here every single day. Thank you, CW. DTC Thunder with the 1-month tier 1. I appreciate that. And Purple Cobras 216 with the 1-month tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Also, today, by the way, forgot to mention today is a sub-only day. So sub-only chat is going on. Every other day is sub-only for the Twitch subs to get full access, priority access, I should say, to the chat. Today is a sub-only day. Also, if you guys want to see the replays, you should probably sub to the Twitch because it's getting kind of hard to get these things up on YouTube. Especially with these streams being like 2 hours, it just takes so damn long. Nico with the Prime, I appreciate the resub. So if you want the replays, you do get instant replays to the streams when you sub. So if you miss something or you want to see something, you can go back to it ASAP. But yeah. So today, small slate. We got 9 games. We're looking at about 3 homers a game, though, which is crazy. I tweeted about it yesterday. I talked about it on the stream yesterday as well. It's going to be a derby this entire heat wave. It's going to be a derby this entire heat wave. It was obvious the last couple days in a row. The pitchers, it's not even so much that the weather is contributing to the home runs. Like, yeah, the weather, the heat definitely is helping a ton. But I think a bigger part of it is that the pitchers just cannot spend 10, 15 minutes throwing as hard as they can out in that heat and controlling the ball well. Like, yo, Simbo with the gifted. I appreciate that. Thank you for the 1 gifted. And Ace Boogie with the 3-stream streak. So, yeah, I think that's a issue for the pitchers here is they're getting exhausted. They're sweating their asses off out there. They're probably seeing double. Honestly, I bet they see the batter like, sometimes when you're real hot and sweaty, you see like double vision. I guarantee they're out there seeing double. So, yeah, it's going to be a derby. So even these small slates, completely targetable. Completely targetable. So, I mean, we saw yesterday with the Cubs. Like, that was a shocker. I don't think anybody expected that. Walker Buehler had barely given up any homers on the year. They hit like 6 homers on him. He's just throwing everything right down the middle because he just couldn't command the ball. It was too sweaty. So, yeah, could be pretty crazy. We may as well skip over the Reds and Brewers. Yeah, I mean, I still think Chase Burns is hittable, though. I still think they can get a couple off Chase today. But yeah, I know what you mean by that. Chase versus the Miz, that's a crazy one. Yesterday we saw like 40-some homers again. 43 homers. Like, Joe Mack has been popping off. Joe Smack, as I called him yesterday. Junior, keep riding it till the wheels fall off. Hunter Goodman and Mickey, we loved both of those guys yesterday. I know a lot of people are like, oh, which one do we pick? Well, you take both, and they both hit for you. So, Brandon Marsh is on a heater. Sammy A. Antonacci, shout out Fernando Tatis, absolutely selling. Absolutely selling. Minus 210 for 2 hits, runs, RBIs in really good weather conditions against a bad pitcher, and he just does absolutely dog all nothing, and then gets pulled from the game early because they're down by 20 runs. Just not what you drew up for Tatis yesterday. That sucked. Trey Turner's on a bit of a heater, too. Cedric Mullins, I did mention him yesterday in passing, but I said I wasn't going to take him because I'm just going to take Junior. Well, they both hit. Freddie, we really liked Freddie yesterday. I loved Freddie yesterday. I gave Trent Freddie as his play for his square on Prize Picks during his stream later in the day. Freddie Fantasy. Freddie looked really good yesterday. He ended up hitting one out. Caros didn't really have any thoughts on him. Noel V. Marte didn't think about him. Henry Davis, no. Some of these guys. Oh, McGonigal was. I don't know. I don't think Mel's in here yet, but shout out Mel. I liked McGonigal as like a potential bases or a double guy, and she said she was going to take him for a homer because whenever I like a guy for a double, they hit a homer. What do you know? McGonigal held true there. Random. Dansby's on a heater. Random. Landor. Random. Haven't seen his name in forever. James Wood, another one. Shout out Mel. We talked about James Wood looked pretty good yesterday. Low fly ball rate, but he ended up going. Random. Of course, these 2 guys are Daylates and Josh Bell and Cody Clemens. Random. My God, every single Cubs player. Obviously, every single Cubs player, including Suzuki. Our community lay was a day late, by the way. It hit. If we would have taken the community lay from 2 days ago, the Suzuki, Cody Clemens, whoever the third leg was, I don't remember. Junior, maybe? I don't remember who the third leg was. Suzuki, Clemens, whoever. That hit yesterday, of course. Bangaliers went. O'Neill went. Barracoto. Was it Hunter? It might have been Hunter. No, we got one. It was Jock. It was Jock. No, was it Jock? Yeah, it was Jock. Jock didn't hit yesterday, so I'm wrong. It wasn't a day late. But the 2 legs that missed were a day late in Cody Clemens and Seiya Suzuki. Sean Keys, never heard of that guy. Never heard of that guy. All right. So, yeah, that's, I guess, kind of what went down yesterday. Anyway, so some groundbreaking stuff. I spent a lot of time testing, back testing, kind of every possible combination for now, or at least a lot, like thousands, 20,000, 30,000 combinations in this list builder. And I made some key discoveries that most of you probably will not believe. So lock in here. I think, and you might call me crazy here, I think we've been overvaluing hot bats. The data shows that actually gating the hard hit, max hard hit, not minimum hard hit, but maxing the hard hit. Yeah, outside of junior, obviously. But overall, we're looking at thousands of at-bats, right? We're not looking at just junior Caminero, but over thousands of at-bats. It's the best recipe right now is targeting pitchers with really bad pitches versus batters who are in a bit of a downswing in the hard hit category, but still have a very high max EV. They've smoked the ball. They're not hitting it hard consistently yet, but they're facing a guy. Essentially, bounce back spots are the hottest performing recipes, right? So let me show you one. Let's just see. Let's get into one. First of all, this one's different. This one is still relying on a good hard hit rate, right? In this case, but anyway, the most important thing that I have found, yeah, I don't know what's going on with the TCAA. I tested on mine and it's working perfectly fine. I delete my watch list every day. You're supposed to. I think that just is a stale browser. You need to just like refresh your browser, like restart your browser. But this case right here, what we're doing, and I think the most important thing for recipes when you're building these lists is pitcher arsenal. This is going to be more important than this, essentially. That's what I found. Targeting pitches that have a ISO allowed, a fly ball allowed, a hard hit allowed, a home run per plate appearance allowed, using the more arsenal filters here is by far the most indicative of home runs than actual form for the batters, which I've said kind of many times over in terms of the pitch mix rating, right? The one gripe that I've had for a very long time with people who only use StatCast and ignore kind of everything else, which I've kind of fallen trapped and victim to that recently, is you're ignoring the quality of the pitches. We had the conversation, the one I think of that comes to mind was when the Brewers played the Cubs, and PCA looked really good against Miz's fastball and slider against other pitchers, but against the Miz, it's a different story. So what we're looking for here is pitchers who have vulnerable pitches. That's what we care about more than anything else. So this is, we're still going to look at hard hit and blast here on this side, but mainly we're searching for only the pitches that are thrown at over 15% with a 200 ISO. So you get 21 batters here. And this is kind of going to be a wider list. I got some deeper searches that can fuck Miz. Hey, and I love Miz. That's my guy. We're looking for vulnerable pitches, and then these guys hit those pitches hard, right? So you're going to get a smaller list. It's actually kind of backwards of everything that I've been thinking for the last few weeks in terms of like one pitch wonders, all of that. But actually, this is what the data shows really, really works. You're targeting a couple of weak pitches and guys who hit those pitches well, because all of this data is going to be related just to the qualifying pitches. So guys like Harper, obviously Caminero. I mean, I'm going to throw him on there just anyways right now. I'll throw Harper on there too. Why not? Schwarber, slider versus changeup. Colson Montgomery, we'll throw him on there. Owen Casey, we'll throw him on there. It's really only the four-seam fastball for him, and same with Stowers. Stowers at 240, I'm not doing that. Caglione he's got 3 pitches that get hit over 200 ISO, so. Shohei, Bowers, Bowers, put him on there against Chase Burns against a four-seam fastball. Garrett Mitchell even, he was on a heater yesterday. Holy cow, Garrett Mitchell went crazy yesterday. Okay, so that's one way we're looking at it, right? And now another way we can look at this. This one right here I think is my favorite. This is my favorite. What we're looking at here is pitches that are thrown more than 15% of the time to the batter's hand that give up more than a 200 ISO, more than a 3% home run rate, and more than a 30% fly ball rate. So these pitches get put in the air a lot, they get hit hard, and they get hit for homers. So we're really just looking for major, major, major home run vulnerability pitches that are thrown more than 15% of the time. So he throws them a lot, and they get smoked. It's going to be a small list of qualifying pitches. Usually it's going to be one pitch, as you can see. And on the other side, what we're looking for here is we're looking for guys who have a max ground ball of 40%. Another insight that I found out is line drive is actually more indicative of home run to come than fly ball. Guys who have a higher line drive rate are trending towards hitting a home run rather than guys who've been consistently hitting fly ball rates. And it makes sense if you think about it, right? When we're taking hot bats, essentially everybody's going to regress to the mean or they're going to rise to the mean. So a guy who's hitting, a ton of fly balls, a ton of homers, whatever, it's more likely that they're going to regress to the mean rather than continue forward, right? Line drive, these guys are starting to hit the ball in the air. They're hitting in the air. They're not putting it on the ground. They're not quite getting into the home run range yet. But as long as they have a max EV of over 106 miles an hour, meaning they can smoke the hell out of the ball. So at least one of their last 10 batted balls was hit over 106 miles an hour. And they have a good line drive rate and a low ground ball rate. Against a vulnerable pitch, these are guys you target for a bounce back, essentially. Zach Neto, Brandon Lowe, he's got terrible odds here, but Brandon Lowe, Manny Machado. These are the kind of the guys that are soaring into form and are ready to pop off. That's the way you can look at this. That's the way you can look at this. Freddie Freeman, he just hit one. Jorge Soler, his odds dropped. He was plus EV when I ran this list like 10 minutes ago. So people are starting to get on Jorge Soler. I'll put him on there too. But Brandon Lowe, yeah, just in the 200s is crazy, but he falls into this bucket. So low ground ball, a decent line drive. It's actually essentially what I was looking at for doubles, right? My doubles list is actually a pretty good indicator for guys who are close to popping off for a homer. And once again, this is all like back tested over like thousands of plate appearances in every batter in the league, right? Let me pull something up. I'll show y'all just for fun. You can see what I've been working on just to prove it to you. I know I don't ever have to prove myself to you guys, but I will. I think you'll enjoy it. Look at all these back-tested recipes. Oops. $20,405 back-tested recipes. 20,405. And that's just one list. I have like 3 or 4 of these sheets too, right? This is just one back test that I ran. It shows you the home runs that were hit based on these criteria, the home run rate versus the control rate, the lift, the score, right? So in this case, this is saying this one right here, home run rates hit at 25% of the time when it's the control rate would be 17%. So it's giving it a 42% lift on predictability for homers. Try to sell this list. Y'all want me to sell recipe lists? One-time fee, I'll pay for it. You get a whole 20,000 line Excel sheet to test. Nah. That's just one of them. I'm going to keep making more of those. It's not done. Back testing is not a one-day process. So I'll continue to do that. That's what you get around here, man. That's what you get around here with Rude Bets. That is what you get around here with Rude Bets. I'm going all in. And I'll bring those insights to y'all. So, but yeah, the biggest things I found today, target pitchers that have weak pitches. So high ISO, home run rates, fly ball rates on their pitches. And then target line drive, kind of a decent line drive rate. What's decent line drive? I put it at 28%, so kind of around like a little over 20 to 30%, as long as they have a lower ground ball rate, under 40. More Arsenal right here. 200 ISO, 3 home runs per plate, 3% home run rate, and 30% fly ball for this one specifically. So yeah. So yeah, I think we've kind of been thinking about it a little wrong in terms of like maxing out the hard hit, maxing out the fly ball, those types of things. Jakey Monk with a 25 stream streak, I appreciate it. Ace Boogie with the 3. So yeah, those are some pretty crazy insights. This one is a fresh form killer list that I found in my recipe thing that had pretty good stats. What we're looking for here, and I don't think we're going to get anybody today on a small slate. This is what I'm going to save for bigger slates. Hopefully we'll get 1 or 2 names, but these are guys that are like almost like a must take. Yeah, so nobody today. What we're looking at here is pitches that have a fly ball rate of 30% or more with a home run rate of over 4.5%. So it's going to be a small list there. And then also the batter on the other side. It's only in the last 5 events. I want to see at least a 30% fly ball rate, minimum average exit velocity of 88%, and a maximum exit velocity at least 108 miles an hour off the bat. This will give you guys like probably Junior, Kyle Schwarber, things like that. But when they're like super hot against a pitcher that you can smoke. So not going to get anything today on this one, but this is a good one if you want to find like 1 or 2 names that can go crazy. But yeah, I made a bunch of them. So I got some deep searches and secret sauce. So deep search is going to be probably smaller guys. So once again, let's go back to that bounce back list, right? So this one, counterintuitive to everything we've been thinking. It's counterintuitive to everything we've been thinking. But if you're a data, look who's on the list: Nito, Lowe, and Soler, guys we just saw in the last one. But if you're a data nerd like me and you want to really spend your time kind of in a more effective way, mess around with this. What we're looking at here, last 5 starts. These are all the constants. I'm always going to keep it at last 5 starts. I'm always going to keep the minimum usage to 15%. You could drop this down to 10 if you want. 15% minimum usage to the batter's hand. We're always going to keep match a pitcher's hand on. The insights found that matching day and night and home and away is kind of 50-50. It's not super indicative and it doesn't hurt. So you could turn those on or keep them off. It doesn't really make a huge difference for predictability. But this one we're targeting only pitches with an ISO over 220. So very high ISO. Very high ISO allowed. Meaning that pitch gets absolutely rocked. And then on the other side, what we're looking at is batters who have a minimum fly ball rate of 32%. They have at least 1 pull barrel, minimum line drive of 25%. So about 50% of their balls are going to be in the air. A little over 60% of their balls will have to be in the air. But their hard hit is less than 45%. So recently on these pitches, they're putting them in the air. They're just not hitting them that hard consistently. But they're going up against a guy who gives up meatballs on that pitch. So in this case, Zach Nito versus a 4-seam fastball. He's in a huge bounce back spot today on a 4-seam fastball that's very hittable against Bryce Miller. Brandon Lowe on a changeup and fastball, and then Jorge Soler also on that 4-seam fastball. You're looking at kind of like these 1 pitches that these guys can get a huge bounce back in. You pair this up with the plus EV, you find some really good plays. I called this one UFO. I don't know why. I dropped the usage down to 12% with a 200 ISO, minimum of 19% blast, and I'll bump this up to 20% blast, actually. So at least 2 blast, and then minimum line drive of 24%. Max EV has to be at least 107 miles an hour, and pull fly ball, they have to have at least 1 pull fly ball. Not pull barrel, but fly ball that was a pull. Let's see if we see Nito on there again. And Lowe, they've been popping up everywhere. So Brandon Lowe is back on there, and Jorge Soler. You got Stowers on here. Once again, I do like Stowers today, but I don't know about that. Plus 240 is kind of crazy. It's at Colorado. Cags keeps popping up too. Brandon Lowe plus 180 on MGM is crazy. Who is this? My God. Yeah, those are his pitches. He's terrible value, absolutely terrible. But yeah, so Yelich is popping up here too. 4-seam fastball though, 50% ground ball. A little high. Man, Riley Green does look pretty good too, but once again, just awful odds. So, all right, last 3 starts. This one is very similar to the last one we just did, except we're honing in on just the 3 starts of the pitcher instead of the last 5, in case they got rid of a pitch. Okay, so now Colson Montgomery pops in here. This is a little bit more detailed, honing in on just the last 3 starts. We got Colson back in here again on the cutter. Average exit velocity 101.3 on a cutter that is giving up an ISO over 4 and a 4% home run rate. So, yeah. Lowe is still on there, and Soler. We keep seeing Lowe and Soler, I'll tell you what, and Schwarber, obviously. But Schwarber at 186 I'm not doing it. Why does my list builder keep saying error 422? I have no idea. Maybe just hard refresh. That's probably just a stale browser error. You just have to hard refresh your browser. Usually it says error 422 is missing required fields. Try to take Martian Harper? Yeah. So here's the workflow that I'm going to operate on. I'm going to start here in the list builder, use some of these lists, go through them, get some names that I really like, then go back through the games, reevaluate the pitch mix, things like that, and go from there. This is a really good starting point. This is an interesting list. Nobody we've seen so far. We're looking at here, ISO over 200 on pitches again, but a minimum line drive, hard hit low, and a high pull fly ball. So these guys are kind of cold. Yeah, cold rebound. So high line drive guys with a rebound potential here. I want to put 40% ground ball back in here and bump this up to 30%. See what changes. Minimum pull fly ball. I put it at 8%. So essentially, it's just as long as they have 1. Also, I'm looking at the last 20 for this list. Mookie could be in a good bounce back. I'll put Mookie on this list. I like the EV on that. Also, these are grayed out. These are not in there, by the way. These are just like examples of what you can put. If you see, if it's purple, that means that's actually using it. Like right here, you see min hard hit. There's like a grayed out 50. It's not gating for 50% hard hit right here. That's just like an example, a field example for people who don't know where to start. But yeah. Extreme home run pitch, bounce back. Okay, this is an interesting one. Now we're just looking at pitchers that get absolutely destroyed and guys who aren't hitting it too hard. 8% home run rate and a 30% fly ball rate. Wow. Bryce Miller. And this is all pitches, no minimum usage here. Although I do think I want to add in a minimum usage. Let's put at least 10%. Put at least 10% in here. Okay. Once again, we're seeing a lot of the same names. Jack, Nito, Jorge Soler, Andy Paz. Didn't see him really. Tucker, Marcy. Manny Machado is back on here again, too. I'll throw Manny on there. Why not? Seen him a few times. The Owen Casey on the cutter. So now we're just looking at elite blast and guys who hit the sweet spot a lot with a good line drive and a decent fly ball rate, 25% fly ball on the pitch. Last 20 events. Jake Bauer's the only one that fits this. Yeah, I've ran this one already. I'll do it one more time. Nito Lonesler, yeah. Okay, so I think we have a really good starting point now for this slate already. We have 12 guys on the watch list already, just from looking at some of these different combos. Probably going to see a lot of the similar names here. And what's so beautiful about this, yeah, Joe Mack, Brandon Marsh on there again. Slider changeup for Marsh. Put him on there. Scary carry. Scary carry is on there. But what's beautiful about this, what I was saying, using this tool, you can instantly just isolate for essentially the guys who are going to, like, we're looking for not meatball throwers, we're looking for literally meatball pitches. That's how granular we're going on this one. And it's a really beautiful way to do it. So, all right, so now we got a list of 13 guys already. Harper, Caminero, Colson, Marsh, Casey, Stowers, Cags, Zach Nito, Brandon Lowe, Jake Bowers, Machado, Mookie, and Soler. And now from there, we can just cook the rest of the slate. Now we've got kind of those are like our guys who match really well against pitches. Now we can go look at pitch mix ratings. So Brandon Lowe, 6.8. I mean, God, his price is awful. His price could not be worse. His price could not be worse, but we're projecting 4.62 runs here from this team. Probably going to lose this game. Pittsburgh to hit 1 homer about. So Pittsburgh's not ideal today for homers in terms of all the different teams out there. See the zones here. He does have a zone master, 6.6 rating. Matches up really nicely on the zones. Really nicely on the zones here. Spray charts, obviously, very good. Going right with the wind as well. His homers versus righties are going directly with the wind. I mean, I get it why they have him priced the way they do. 10 positive, 2 negative. The only 2 negatives is that recent form over his last 7 games. He's been struggling. Strikeout rate's been popping up. But, once again, those bounce back spots are actually pretty good. Recent form here, he does have a couple homers in the last 7 games. Harper, Bowers, Casey might be a good afternoon late. Could be. I do like it. 365 lines. Every day, 365 seems to be actually having decent lines, huh? Day games, he does all right. He's better in night games, not by much, but what about Rope? So, yeah, Brandon Lowe, I mean, price is awful. You could boost him. Maybe he's all right. Another guy with a really high percent here. Henry Davis doesn't have a line today, so I guess maybe he's not playing. Esmeralyn Valdez, very high. What up, Elro? I don't know if I said that already. Very high projection, partially because he's hit 4 homers. He's on pace. I mean, JJ Bleday 2.0 over here. Guy's on pace for 54 home runs right now. If he were to have played a full season at this pace, 54 homers. I mean, let's be real. My guy's not hitting 54 homers. 461 feet. Jeez Louise, man. Holy cow. He is 5 out of 6 due. Zones, we're not going to have a ton of matches on that. He just doesn't have a lot of at-bats. Day games, 1,500 OPS versus righties. Not as good as versus lefties, but still pretty high, 959 OPS. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we don't have a ton of data on him. Against this pitch mix, all we really have is a really good blast, a really good hard hit, 3 barrels. Line drive's a little low. Fly ball's a little high, actually, but it's not bad. I don't mind him today. Plus 320, not bad. I just don't know how much confidence I have in a guy with only 7 balls in play. So, and you're probably wondering why wasn't Esmeralda Valdez on any of those lists? I had it gated to a minimum of 10 balls in play. He only has 7, so he was filtered out because he only has 7. You can drop that if you want. In the list builder, right here, minimum balls in play, you could drop that down to 5 if you really wanted to, and he'd be in there. But yeah, 7's just a really small sample size, but he does look solid today. So, what's his pitch mix rating? 6.3. That's solid. That's very good. Favorable matchup here. And then we are 5 out of 6 due with 10 positive, 1 negative. His K rate's a little high. What's his K rate? 38%. Yabba dabba doo. Holy cow. 38% K rate's insane, but so do what you want with Esmeralda Valdez today. Personally, I need the sample size. Personally, I need a sample size. Jared Jones. If you look at that 200 ISO gate, you're getting change up and a slider here. Fly ball rate here, 25% on the changeup. Four seam also gets hit in the air pretty decent amount. Hard hit, 48.5% is crazy. Yeah, righty's only at 28% hard hit, but a higher fly ball. But that hard hit rate's really, really crazy. Yeah. As expected, the Phillies all look insane. Harper, Marsh, yeah, the lefties really. Harper is a little high on that ground ball, or high ground ball on that changeup. Same with Marsh. And that slider gets smoked. Marsh on the sliders, it's pretty outstanding. Same with Harper. Yeah, Harper and Marsh. All look really good here. Got a few zones that match for Harper. Let's look on that slider. Yeah. Curve, yeah, down in the zone. Change up. Yeah, I mean, you could work with that. Four seam is where it really matches, but I think his four seam's, yeah, it's not great. So, yeah, I'm not Schwarber, I'm not talking about. I'm not even going to add Schwarber to my list. Just, what's the point? Plus 186. Even Harper at 285 is insane, but at least Marsh is 520. But Harper, I think probably I lean towards Harper on that one between these two. But yeah, they both look good. Both look really good. Excuse me, what the hell? My voice just gave out. Chase Burns versus The Miz. Chase Burns is like Miz Light. You know what I mean? Chase Burns is like the free version of The Miz. Yeah, that's crazy that Junior has a better price than Schwarber right now. Take the Murphy and max it. I don't know. Yelly leadoff homer today might be in play. So here's something about Burns. Righties can't hit him for shit. Look at the ISO on his pitches versus righties. The four seam recently has gotten a little bit higher at 200 ISO, but lefties, that slider's getting better. Slider is getting better, but on the year, Four seam and changeup specifically. Four seam changeup. Four seam definitely. 346 ISO with a 7% home run rate. That changeup even has a very high home run rate too. He only throws it 10% of the time. But that four seam, 7% home run rate's kind of nuts. I don't trust Yelich against the four seam. Sure, got walked twice yesterday. Yeah, to start the game, it was not fun. It's funny because Trio doesn't really walk. I don't know if I trust Yelich against the four seam. Let's see. Yeah. Right here. He's negative runs above average on a four seam. Good against a slider and a changeup, though. Let's look at just the four seam. When he does hit it, you get a good line drive, which is a very high ground ball. Rang on the four seam? Nah. Yeah, Bowers is really the guy I trust on the four seam here. Good line drive, good fly ball. A lot of hard hit, a lot of blast. Bowers is the guy I trust against the four seam today. This is the most vulnerable pitch that Chase Burns throws, and this guy performs pretty well on it. 70% in the air, good line drive too. Once again, we're prioritizing line drive right now. Garrett Mitchell, this is his issue here. Everything looks pretty good except his ground ball's a little too high. Yesterday, Garrett Mitchell, 4 for 4, 2 doubles and a triple. And one of his doubles hit the tip top of the wall, and he had a single. He was an inch away from the cycle. Inch away from the cycle yesterday for Garrett Mitchell. He's on a bit of a heater here. Don't sleep on Garrett Mitchell today, folks. Four-seam fastball from righties. He hits it hard. What's his strikeout rate been doing? Strikeouts per game. Getting a lot better. 1-1-0-0-2-0-2-0. Starting to bring that rate down. I know he strikes out 33% of the time, but recently he's been doing pretty good. Pretty good. I wouldn't sleep on Garrett Mitchell today. So Bowers and Mitchell both look pretty solid there. Mitchell just a little too high on the fly ball, or the ground ball for me. The ground ball. Bowers, though. Pretty good price on Bowers at 460. The Miz. Let's look at his pitches. He gave up a homer on a slider. Pretty funny. Pretty funny to look through this and see all the ISO 0, 0. Slider got hit 0. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. No ISO allowed. No extra base hits allowed. No home runs allowed. Very low hard hit. A little bit of fly ball, but only 19 balls in play. He's not putting many in play here. Only 30 balls in play against lefties in his last 5 starts. I mean, you could argue righties have a better shot at him on a slider, but his slider's different, man. His slider is different. Yeah, I'm going to fade the Reds today. Corby single and home run odds are the same. That's insane. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if he had more homers on the year than singles. That wouldn't shock me. I don't know if that's a real thing or not, but it would not surprise me. Marlins Rockies should be a derby here. 91 degrees in Colorado's ballpark. Should be a derby here. Should be a derby. Lorenzen. Four-seam changeup. Mainly that four-seam, though. And changeup, yeah. Four-seam changeup to lefties. Home run rate. Not that high. ISO's very high, though. What's this guy been doing? Do you give him any homers? Yeah, a little bit. Getting a 422 API error when I add the more Arsenal works fine when I do big stuff. Are you putting a decimal in? You're the second person to say that. Let me try something here. Like what are you trying to do? I guess you're missing this decimal. Let me just try without the decimal. Yeah, that's your problem. Put the decimal in, maybe. Let's see if it works. Yeah, I think that's your problem. I think that's y'all's problem is you're not putting in the decimal place. See what I'm saying? ISO, it has to be like ISO is like 0.150, 0.200, not just 200. 200 ISO is impossible. That doesn't exist. But 0.200, it's baseball terms. You'll slug 0.400. Batting average allowed 0.200. So that's probably the issue. It's looking for a 200 ISO instead of a 0.200 ISO, and it's like that shit doesn't exist, brother. So it gives you a 422. So that's the issue there. Yep. Okay, four seam and change up. Yeah, Stowers and Casey. Casey specifically. Joe Mack also looks pretty crazy here. I'm going to get rid of Stowers and put Joe Mack in there. Mainly because of the price. $250 for Kyle Stowers, I mean. Yeah, high ground ball. This is like Garrett Mitchell, kind of. Stowers and Garrett Mitchell give me the same vibe. Even Griffin Conine even, too. Oh, and Casey, yeah, there you go. Good fly ball, good line drive. Casey looks crazy. Joe Mack. Joe Smack. Joe Smack looks solid here. A little high on the ground ball. Casey's the best. Joe Smack's not bad, though. Are there any vulnerable pitches to the righties on this team? Not really. Not at all. So. And then Gusto. Gusto's not really. No ISO, no hard hit for any of these top pitches. Not hard hit. No home run rate. No ISO, no home run rate. Fly ball rate's really high on this sweeper, though. And the changeup. Interesting. Lefties, we got a good fly ball on the changeup and the curveball. A little bit of ISO here, not much. Yeah, Moniak does look solid on these. These are like the kind of vulnerable pitches. Moniak's not terrible. The four seam, no fly ball on the four seam. That's crazy. 125 ISO at least. 63% hard hit. Yeah, Moniak. I don't mind him though. I'll put money on there. Money looks pretty solid there. What Willie? 5.6 on the pitch mix. Not the best, not the worst. Not the best, not the worst. The righties are a little bit harder here. Really, it's sweeper and changeup are the only two that have any fly ball. Nothing has any ISO. Sweeper changeup, yeah, Goodman does look pretty solid on those two, though. 500 ISO. Launch angle's pretty solid there. Almost in the fly ball range. Good fly ball. The ground ball's a little high. Good barrel, though. Good pull barrel. I like Goodman as well. One of these two guys today is probably going back to back. Not bad. Yeah, good against changeups and sweepers. Changeup might be a little tough here. Oh, he's in the hundreds. Yeah. Pretty tough there. Pretty tough. And these odds today are cooked. Pan-seared. Fried. White Sox and Cleveland. Slade. Obviously, we already like Colson here, but let's look at Slade versus lefties in the last 5. That cutter is getting destroyed. You really just want to target the cutter. You really just want to target the cutter. I really just want to target the cutter. I don't know what you want to do. Yeah. 1200 ISO. 1000 I. Oh my God. Wow. Colson looks disgusting on a cutter, which is the vulnerable pitch. The only one that has any home run rate. On the year, a little bit of four seam also gets hit. I know that is kind of Colson's weak pitch, though. Cutter looks nasty. Righties. No homers allowed to righties in his last 5 starts. Wow. On the year, it's really just the four seam. Is he still throwing the four seam? Barely. Barely throwing that four seam. To righties, he's going heavy on the sinker. Four seam for Vargas isn't bad. Good launch angle. Sinker for Vargas. 250 ISO is not terrible. Okay blast. A little low on the fly ball or high ground ball. Launch angle's not quite there. Slider, nobody's doing anything on 100 average only. Cutter, same with the righties. Not much there. Four seam's really the pitch the righties hit. Curveball and sweeper, he doesn't really throw them anymore. He doesn't throw a sweeper at all, and that curveball is going away. So yeah, I think Colson here for sure. See if anybody else was good on the cutter as a lefty. Antonacci, nope. Benintendi's all right. Low ISO, though. Tristan Peters, yeah. Yeah. I'm changing my methodology here a little bit, chat. I'm trying to get way more precise. Like, I'm trying to dial in on specific edges. And I tested it yesterday. Like, for example, yesterday when I was pulling up those lists, the bounce back stuff with the low hard hit on home run vulnerable pitches, the kind of counterintuitive method. Well, the number one guy that popped up, who is having kind of a struggle with the certain pitch in terms of low hard hit, but has had a couple really good hits against it, and the pitch is really vulnerable, was Junior Caminero on a sinker. Guess what Junior Caminero's home run was on? A sinker. So, targeting very specific things here for homers. Davis Martin. All right. Four seam to righties actually is hittable. Lefties at curveball's hittable too. Four seam to righties. Wow, four seam to righties and curveball to lefties. So we're getting really targeted here. Four seam to righties. Nah. Curveball to lefties, though. Oops. Manzardo on a curve. Good launch angle. No ISO. You're going to get a bullet right now? That's true. Chase DeLauder, no. Schneemann got a good ISO there. Yeah, so no one really excels against a curveball. But this four seam, it's the number one pitch, and it's the most vulnerable. It's two righties. Problem is, Arias is really the only righty here. Yeah. Guardians are probably, for me, a fade. But I know y'all probably want to go by this. You're going to look at four-seam sinker, curveball. Kind of the old method here. And you're going to see Manzardo does look pretty solid. Same with Bazana. They both look really good on those. Manzardo and Bazana on the old method look pretty good. Why not the cutter for Davis? 12%. What do you mean? Versus lefties? Got a high ISO. I just didn't include it because he has no homers given up on it. And it's also pretty low percent. It's under I'm trying to look at 15% and above. I'm replicating my lists here. But I guess we can look at it. Yeah, Manzardo against a cutter is good. Very low percent thrown. Good ISO against it. No homers allowed, though. Well, on the year. Yeah, if you throw it on the year, the cutter does kind of jump in there, though. 44.5%. His usage is going down a little bit. Still there. Yeah. Manzardo on a cutter today could happen. Just don't know how many of them he's going to see. He's 1 for 8, or 1 homer and 8 at bats, 2 for 8 overall. Where's he throwing that cutter? Yeah, I mean, definitely matches. Definitely matches. So. Could be good on a cutter today. Could be good on a cutter today. I'm a little grossed out by his 370 price. It's not the worst we're going to see today, but not great. I'll track him just so I can remember. Manzardo on the cutter. Yeah, everything is nuked because of the heat dome. Yeah. All the odds are nuked because of that. So. Yeah, slate against the righties, just not quite there. On the year, really is the four seam, but he's starting to throw it less and less. Last start, he did throw it 15% of the time. Yeah, that cutter for Davis Martin is almost non-existent. Okay. It is bad on odds. It's really bad. But you got to work with what the board gives you. You know what I mean? The real answer is okay. Then you just don't play anything, I guess. You know. But I don't know. I'm here to have some fun. If I'm getting smoked on odds a little bit, whatever. It's the Heat Dome. I got to play this. You know. I'll get smoked on odds a little bit and pray that I can beat negative EV for a couple days. At the end of the day, negative EV is really more of a long-term metric than a short-term metric anyway. You know, really, it's much more of a long-term thing. It's like, okay, over hundreds of days, you're going to get smoked. Over one day, you could beat negative EV over one day. Okay, let's look at these pitches again. Hurston Waldrep. And he's pitched 2 innings this year. Gonna be tough. We don't really have a whole lot on this guy. This year at least. I think he pitched last year, but damn. Well, when I don't have the data, I'm not gonna play it. No, I think Waldrop was always with I think they drafted him. I think he's one of their better prospects, if I'm not mistaken. Throws a sinker and a splitter, but there's only been all starts, he's had 2 balls in play. 80% on the ground. Sorry, he's had 5 balls in play. 2 to righties, 3 to lefties. No fly balls allowed on the year. Yeah, it's not enough data. I can't really target that. I'm not gonna work for it. Dustin May. Has he been cooking? 9 innings, 1 hit. Dustin May's been cooking. Got a couple bad starts in there, obviously. This last one was terrible. Outside of this last start, though. Damn. Well, what was he getting smoked on the last start? Changeup. Cutter. Okay. Yeah, some of his pitches that he gets hit hard on are all these really small percentage ones. Sweeper changeup mainly here, it looks like. Although recently, not so much. Yeah, changeup again. Sweeper changeup, huh? Just start there and we'll see what we get. Matt Olson on sweeper changeup, not bad. What do you mean by that, CW? Cross state lines? Oh, all stars. Sweeper change. Dustin May's kind of hard to target. He's kind of hard to target. Cannot lie. He's kind of hard to target. Look for a fly ball rate. It's all the low. His top pitches are getting no fly ball rate and no ISO. The changeup's the only common theme. The changeup is really the only common theme. And yeah, Matt Olson does well against the changeup. Matt Olson at 350. God. VPN. Yeah. Yastrzemski on changeup's not too bad. Not too bad. Not too bad. You're on Yaz today? Targeting this pitch, I mean, yeah, I don't hate him. Yeah, don't mind Yastrzemski today. Really, though, it's very, very targeted. 5 for 7, 2 extra base hits versus Dustin May as well. Not bad. Albie's back to back. Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm on a quest today to be a lot more targeted. So I'm gonna skip. I think I'm gonna skip. But Albies does have a good price. Best price on the board for this team today is probably Albies. Yastrzemski, I don't mind him. Very targeted. I'll put him on there. I'm very targeted, but Yastrzemski, I don't mind. Tampa Bay. Okay. Could be a derby. Here. Is Ian Seymour going to have an opener, though? That's what I'm really concerned about. All right, Kolek. My God. We got some pitches to target here. Bobby Whipped Cream, yeah. JB to Philly. Yeah, Boston Celtics fans are still I feel bad for y'all, man. Y'all are in hell. Four seam has a high ISO, cutter has a high ISO, slider has a high ISO. Let's just go four seam cutter, because those are also big home run pitches too. To the lefties here. Four seam cutter to the lefties. Mullins here. Yeah, I like Mullins today as a back-to-back guy. I do. I like Mullins here. Oh, it'd be back-to-back, two-back. A lot of four seams here, cutter, a couple cutters here, but overall, 45 fly, 25 line drive. Those are solid numbers here. Max EV, 110. We do have our max EV that hits as well. Good pull numbers. I mess with it. I mess with Mullins here on the left side. Kicks for Boogie. Yeah. I'm sorry, man. Victor Mesa. Nah. I mean, like this guy. How does this guy not have a home run? How does he have a 261 OPS? This is insane. Might be the worst luck I've ever seen. Bro, this is my jam. This is number one most nostalgic song for me, probably. How does this guy not have a homer? 55 fly, 30 line drive, 55 hard hit, 25 barrel. Four seams and cutters, he dominates. Like, good blast. Low ground ball. He does get pinch hit, though, like every game, so. That could be an interesting long shot. I'm going to fade him because of this. I just don't love the fact that he gets pinch hit so much. I really hate that. The righties here. Slider. Kind of slider sweeper. Yeah. Common air looks solid. Ride to the wheels fall off. Blah, blah, blah. Can we just appreciate this real quick? It's probably the last time we'll ever see something like this. I'm really bummed about this game right here. Really bummed about this one right here. It should have been a homer. It was a week when everyone at the top of the wall. Yeah, I hated that week. I just want to admire this for a second. This is insane. Man. Okay. Wow. Sinker, sweeper. A little bit of four seam too, but mainly sinker, sweeper. Yeah, he's not throwing that four seam anymore. He's like, hell no. Sinker, sweeper to the lefties. Two pitches you can absolutely target. Is that what it is? I mean, the changeup is in there too. High ISO on the changeup. Yeah. We got our max EV, good hard hit, good blast, 30% fly ball and line drive. Cags looks good. I don't mind Cags here. I like that. Carter Jensen, lefty on lefty, also looks pretty solid. 40 line drive. 30 fly ball, 70 yard hit, 30 blast. Carter Jensen, also not bad. What was Cags? 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. He is also 0 for 2, but only 1 strikeout. I didn't take anyone from St. Louis, Nico. Max EV 108. Yeah, I'll throw Carter on there too. Righties, golly, almost no ISO to righties here from Seymour. On the year, four seam and sinker, mainly four seam. Sinker doesn't really get thrown, does it? Yeah. It's really just a four seam for the righties. Well, 412 fly out loading. Yeah. Junior could be in a guard's uniform. People forget. People forget. Bobby Witt on the four seam, 20 fly ball, 60 line drive. Yeah. Tell you what, Bobby Witt. Probably Bobby doubles, but Bobby Witt definitely loading up here. 60 line drive. Single, 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 double, double, fly out, force outfield. Yeah. No homers. It's all doubles. Bobby doubles today for sure. Bobby doubles. Bobby doubles. Salvage has not been doing a lot. This is old data. Yeah. Bad pitch mix rating too. Okay. Detroit, Texas. Framber versus Nate Eovaldi. Wow. Splitter and sinker here. Yeah, splitter sinker for the righties. Jake Rogers. Can y'all hear the fan noise or no? Let's turn a fan on. I don't think you're picking it up. Nah, not too interested in ding. Torque, good line drive, good fly ball. I don't mind Torque today. Don't mind it. Now, Jake Rogers, he doesn't have a line. Torque could be all right. Torque could be all right. I'm put Torque on there. Then lefties. Oof. Not super high usage, but curveball and four seam. Yeah, curveball four seam. Curveball four seam. Mainly curveball. Riley Green. Curveball four seam. Carey also is pretty good on those, I bet. Yeah. Riley Green. First of all, Kevin McGonigal, 45% fly, 20 line drive. These are good pitches for him, too. Max EV only 104, so he gets gated out for me on that. Riley Green. My God. 40 fly, 25 line drive. Max EV 109. Yeah. I do like sticking with the Riley Green here. Colt Keith. Colt Keith is okay. Carey. Yeah. 105. A little low on the max EV, but that doesn't matter. He can do it too. Wow. Oh, Carey on there. 55 fly, yeah. McKinstry. Outman. Outman's not bad. Okay. I think I might get rid of Torque then and just stick with the two lefties. Nah. We'll keep him on there. I'm just testing this out. I'd rather go Carey over Riley Green, though. I'll do Carey and Torque. Riley Green's price is just terrible. At least Carey, you're getting fair value. Tigers ML? I don't know. Framber. Lefties don't really hit Framber very well at all. The righties, you really are just targeting a changeup here. You're really just targeting a changeup from righties. It's the main thing here. Jake Berger looks pretty decent. So does Higashioka. Changeup from lefties. Bosky, I'm done with him. Berger. Yeah, Berger. 25. Little high on the ground ball. Little high on the ground ball for me. Duran, nothing. Cam Cauley. Higashioka. Very high on the ground ball. Well, these are the two teams I can never figure out anyway. So I'm sure I'll get this game wrong. Angels in Seattle. Walbert Urena versus Bryce Miller. We saw a lot of Zach Neto and Jorge Soler popping up. Four-seam slider gets really smoked. He's starting to get rid of that slider, too. Wow. He is starting to get rid of that slider. Start with just the four-seam here. Zach Neto looks crazy. Soler also looks pretty dang good. Throw the slider back in. They still look pretty decent. He's not throwing it too much. Soler's not that great on the slider. But this is the thing. Last start, did he throw any sliders? 7%. No. He's basically gotten rid of the slider. Four-seam sweeper. Yeah, he's just all four seams. That's crazy. Every once in a while, he'll throw a splitter, sweeper, slider. It's almost all four seam. So, Zach Neto and Jorge Soler. Lefties, only thing they're hitting is the slider. 15% of the time. Slider for the lefties, Josh Lowe. Wow. Wow. Yes, it is. Red Dog, it is. It's all based on the batter's hand. Yeah, Josh Lowe on a slider, though, today could be interesting. I'll throw him on there and hope for a slider. Four seam for Zach Neto. Yeah, crazy. And then four seam. Yo, JB with the resub. I appreciate it. You're late, but you made it. That's all that counts. I prefer Neto over Soler today. So if I want to grind this down to only, oh my God, 1 for 15 versus him, though. He is owned by the pitcher. Soler, 1 for 3. Where's this fastball going, man? Okay. Decent zone match. Four-seam fastball. 5 homers, 4 doubles, 4 singles, 24 outs. Yeah, I'll show the watch list. Urena, no real pitches to target. There's no pitches to target versus Urena. I guess lefties on a changeup. Lefties on a changeup is the only one we can really kind of look at. J.P. Crawford. Kind of just J.P. Crawford, huh? Kind of just JP Crawford on a changeup. How's he doing? 40 fly, 40 ground, 15 line. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Yeah, and the EV shows it. Can zone against a changeup. Yeah, nothing. All right. And then San Diego Dodgers here at Randy Vasquez, Roki Sasaki. Last 5. Yeah, you could target four seam and splitter to the four seam splitter to the lefties. Still, last 5 starts, 333 ISO, both have a high home run rate. Fly ball rates are a little low here, though. Yeah, Urena did. He kind of is just like what Soriano was. Lefties, Merrill, no. Gavin Sheets, not really. The only one here is Sung Moon Song. Really just the four seam. Doesn't even have a line. Yeah, you can throw Sasaki in there with Sandy Alcantara. There's a few guys like that. Righties, four seam slider. A lot higher fly ball rate. So I think you'd rather target righties here anyway. Four seam slider. Manny Machado looks crazy. Well, Tatis, I think I'm going to give him a timeout today. I don't care what he looks like. I need to give him a timeout after what he did to me yesterday. That was such a good play. Antonacci leadoff dinger. I was like, there's no way we're going to lose this. But we did. Tatis honestly doesn't even look that incredible either with the higher ground ball than I'd want. Manny Machado. This is pretty solid here now. Yeah, we got Machado already starred. I like him today. Why did he leave? Who? Tatis? Because they were down 20 runs. Ty France, too, actually, is interesting. Put Ty France on there. Good fly ball and line drive combo, yeah. And then Vasquez to round us out here today. Oh, wow. So to righties, you're really looking at a cutter here. I guess four seam and cutter, but mainly, let's just start with the cutter to the righties. Cutter to the righties here. My soul hasn't been right since Jaylen Brown news. Bro, you guys lost Jaylen Brown. I lost Giannis. All right, you want to talk about soul crushing? What Giannis meant to my team in my city, bro. Jaylen Brown, we lost Drew Holiday a few years ago. That's, I guess, close enough to like us losing Jaylen Brown. Yeah, that stung. But I forgot about that pretty quick. We lost Giannis, man. Y'all get over Jaylen Brown. You still have Tatum. You still have a good player on your team. We got nobody. Could be worse. Could be a lot worse for y'all. You could be like me and have literally nobody. We got quote-unquote Tyler Hero. Kalel Ware. Who am I going to cheer for? Who would I even want a jersey of on that team? You know what I mean? Bro, y'all got, at least you have Tatum. You can still like wear a Tatum jersey and feel proud. I can't. What am I going to wear up? Miles Turner jersey. About to pull up in a, I don't even know, Ryan Rollins jersey. Come on. Mookie's okay today. I don't mind Mook. I don't mind old Mook. 0 for 10 versus Vasquez is kind of crazy, though. Yeah, I got him on there. I don't mind old Mook, though. All right, let's look at the lefties. Hero buckets, bruh. What am I wearing? A Kevin Porter Jr. jersey? All right, lefties. Here we go. Now that's what I'm talking about. Forcing cutter sweeper. It's no case for Mookie. That's true. Yeah, they're decent. I know they're not bad players, but like we don't have a superstar. You know what I mean? This is the first time in 13 years I haven't had a superstar to cheer for in basketball. I just have a collection of guys that are like solid. You know what I mean? This is the first time in 13 years that I'm going to be like rooting to make the play in rather than rooting for like a championship as the expectation. Welcome to the Bulls. I know. Also, Giannis is just an icon, bro. Giannis was an icon. He's the first player ever from my team to get like a shoe deal, have custom shoe out there you can go buy. All of it. They're going to build a statue. They're going to build a statue. Four seam cutter sweeper from righties. I mean, Freddie, a little high on the ground ball, though. Ray Allen had shoes. Yeah, but not like a did Ray Allen have like a Nike shoe? Like that was like a, you go into the store, you could buy them? I don't remember that. Maybe. Like a Jordan, you know what I mean? Like the only guys who I say like have a shoe, like when I'm talking about have a shoe, you're talking about, you got Jordan, LeBron, Giannis. Dame kind of had a shoe, but it wasn't like popular. The Kobe's, obviously the Kobe's. Like Shaq had a shoe, but they weren't really a shoe. You know, like nobody's buying them and wearing them on the court. I'm talking about like shoes that guys are like wearing on the court, like real ass shoe. Yeah, Paul George has a shoe. Kyrie has a shoe. Dwayne Wade has a shoe. Like all those guys have a shoe. KD, yeah, KD's were popular for a minute. KD had a shoe for a minute. He did. He had a shoe for a minute. I think even like Tatum has a shoe. Maybe even Jaylen Brown has a shoe. A lot of these guys have shoes, but I'm talking about like a top tier shoe, like a level 1 shoe. Nobody's wearing the Anakupo. Yeah, they were, bro. People wear the Anakupos. Iverson had the Reeboks. Yeah, I remember those. I do remember those. People wear the Giannis. People wear the Giannis shoe. You see him a lot. You see him on the NBA court. They're not quite at the Kobe level, but people wear them. They're a good shoe. Ant Pearls, yeah, I remember that. The KDs, yeah, they did. I had a pair of KDs in middle school. In Milwaukee, maybe it's a local thing. But I'm telling you, you look at the NBA courts. Kyle Tucker is interesting today, by the way. Line drive and fly ball are solid here. Hard hits decent, right at that range we kind of want to see it at, too, 45%. Yeah, Kyle Tucker here. I wouldn't be shocked to see Kyle Tucker hit a homer. Kyle Tucker on that list. I don't think anybody wears the KDs anymore, right? At least I haven't seen any. Muncie's all right today, too. KD 18s? What the hell are the KD 18s looking like? You know what? Let me just Google this. Most worn shoes by NBA. 2026. Bro, what? Who's the GT? It says here, obviously the Kobe's are number 1, but the Sabrinas are number 2. Oh yeah, the KD 18s are on there on the list. They're number 5. So we got the Nike Kobe 6 is number 1, Nike Kobe 5 is number 2, Nike Sabrina is number 3, Nike Kobe 4 is number 4, KD 18 is number 5. The GT cut, whoever the GT cut, who's GT? Ja was number 6 or 7. D-Book was number 8. Jordan and then Kobe again. Surprised to see Ja on there. I don't see the greases. They were on there. Maybe the last couple years they stopped wearing them. Most selling Nike player shoes all time. I don't know. Can't really find an answer. Just give me Air Force Ones. That's not what I'm looking for here, bro. I think the Giannis shoe is one of the best. I like it. Oh, GT isn't a signature shoe. It's just they give the player editions. I see. I was trying to think of Gary Trent. Obviously not. All right. Shohei, nothing. Okay, so I like Kyle Tucker and Max Muncy here. And Kyle Tucker and Mookie, I mean. Kyle Tucker and Mookie. All right, I think we got a pretty good list. This probably comes with one of his brothers, bro. And I got a pair. I don't know. When they first came out, Giannis, I don't know why I bought these, but it was like his first ever like hype release. I got them. I don't know what to do with them. I've never worn them once. I don't even know why I bought them. It was like his Giannis 1, first ever like hype release. The Coming to America is based off that movie. I bought them and like just out of like impulse, and I was like, wait, why did I buy these? And they just have been sitting in a box for 10 years. I don't know what to do with it. You're selling for $250? Nah. What? What are they, 11 or 10 and a half? Like $200. Probably what I paid for them. Bro, why is the 13 selling for $270? $400 for a 14? Damn, I feel bad for anybody that's a size 14. You guys just might be able to get shit. I can get them for $200. Rip. All right. All right. They're like $80 retail. I feel like I pay like 100, maybe $100 retail. I don't remember. Trash. I'm like, Giannis is my guy. I can't wait for NBA streams with y'all. I'll tell you what. I feel like we got some ball knowers in here. I feel like we have some true ball knowers in here. NBA streams will be pretty fun. This is the list, though. This is what we got. Yeah, Stan, you will. All right. Oh, you know what we got going on here? Yep, we'll do NFL. NFL will be live too. Yep. We're gonna keep this going the whole year. So, listen. When you sign up with me, you get everything in one place. This would be like, I'm gonna be a one-stop shop. All the sports, right? Why would you go to a grocery like? I mean, maybe some of y'all do this, but like if you're going to go get your weekly groceries, would you prefer you can go to one grocery store and they have everything you need? Or would you be like, okay, I got to go to this store to get like the meat, I got to go to this store to get the produce, I got to go to this store to get the snacks, and I got to go to this store. You know what I mean? Now, I'm going to be a one-stop shop. Got it all. Or you're getting your car fixed. You got to go to like this mechanic to get your tires done. Then you have to go drive across the country or across the city and get this mechanic to do your oil or whatever. You know what I mean? Come on. Come on. There's no change. There's no change on sales and price. Like I said, you subscribe to Rude Bets, you get everything. Like it is what it is. We're not changing. I'm not doing like season packages or any of that stuff for different sports or like, oh, once NFL's out, you got to pay this to get NFL 2. No, it's the same price for everything. All right, we got to see what we got going here. We got a little splits. Oh, we only have 3-day games. Damn, 3-day games. We got 7 on our list. Let's make a day lay real quick. Let's do a day lay real quick. New poll. Like 1. Day. Oh. All right, we could cook through here. Joe Mac, Joe Smack. Or Owen Casey. Harper, Marsh, Lowe. All in the same game, folks. All in the same game. Moniak, Goodman, Bowers. All right. Oh, shoot. Matt Casey, Moniak, Goodman are all in the same game. We might be just running a same gamer. We might just be running the same gamer. So basically, it's do you want Jake Bowers or not? That's the question. The poll's live, by the way. I did drop the poll. You can vote now. It's pretty much, do we want Jake Bowers or not, I guess is the real question. If we say no Bowers, then you're doing a same game lay somewhere. Sold by 1 again last night. Same here. I took Moniak and Trammell. I even did a 2-leg. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do a 2-leg. Still somehow lose by 1. Oh, sub mode off. My bad. Harper, Marsh, Lowe. Kind of was smoking it anyway, but okay. Harper, Marsh, Brandon, Lowe. All right, there we go. I turned off sub only mode, and yeah, now you can do it. Whatever you want. Harper, Marsh, or Brandon Lowe. 2-2-2, 2-4-3. Marsh taking a little lead. Marsh taking a big lead. Marsh kind of running here. Are there any supporters for the Brandon Lowe or the Harpers of the world? I kind of hope personally it's between Marsh and Lowe. Marsh is also 5 out of 6 due. Only thing he's missing is a drought score. I will never vote Harper. All right, Marsh. Okay, now here's the next question. Jake Bowers, SGP. Okay, here's the next question that's live. This is all we really need to figure out from here. If we don't want Jake Bowers, if nobody wants to vote Jake Bowers, it's either you vote Jake Bowers or you vote for 2 players from the Miami-Colorado game. So it's either Jake Bowers or one of Owen Casey and Joe Mack and one of Mickey Moniak. I didn't put Goodman on there. Mickey Moniak. So that's the question here: is do you want Jake Bowers or do you want Mickey, Casey, and Joe Mack? If you want one per game, we have to have Joe Bowers. Yeah, no, I didn't put good. Goodman's on the list. I accidentally typed him just out of habit. He's not. It'd be Moniak as the Rocky. So if we vote no on Jake Bowers, Moniak's in there essentially, and then it's between Casey or Joe Mack as the third leg. Okay, so Jake Bowers is in there. Okay, and then the last leg, it is a true 3-leg, no same game parlay. Leg 3, Casey, Mack, Moniak. All right, leg 3's up. Casey, Mack, or Moniak? Casey, Mack, or Moniak? Michael Lorenzen versus Ryan Gusto. I mean, Lorenzen's more hittable. Marsh Bowers, and then whoever this person is. Between Casey and Moniak here. They both have about the same chance to hit a homer. All three of them, really. Moniak, you're getting a worse price. Casey's a better price. Moniak is pitch mix is 5 out of 6 with a 3 out of 6 due. Casey 6 on the pitch mix, 4 out of 6 due. The vote song still doesn't come on. I know. I gotta go to the next song anyway. It might come on during the night vote. All right, Casey. Switch Daylay. I like it. I like it. Casey, Marsh, and Bowers. When in doubt, fade Lorenzo. Yeah, I mean, he's more hittable than Gusto, but Moniak is also Mickey Moniak. Plus 15,000. Good odds here. Good odds here. Okay. Oops. Let's go back here. And now we'll do the actual night one. Need DJ by Lil Wayne. Actually, I'll go to that playlist. That playlist is a banger. We'll start with it, and then we'll let this playlist go. Okay. Night games only now. Okay, so here's our night game watch list. Junior, Colson, Jack, Shohei, Gavin Sheets is not on there. I forgot to click this. Junior, Colson, Jack, Nito, Mullins, Carpenter, Machado, Soler, Manzardo, Mookie, Carter, Ty. My God. Nito Dookie. Night only. Okay. I mean, Junior. No, Bobby, I left as like more of a double. Yo, Squeezy with the tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, man. Oh. Colson plays Cleveland. That'd be Colson or Manzardo. Just put Colson. Manzardo was mid. I'll put him on there for y'all. Manzardo. And then we need someone from like Mookie, Machado, Tucker. Okay. Hi, France as well. Okay. All right, polls live for the night games. Run it. Run it. Here's the thing. If you want Junior and Jack, you can only pick one. If you're between Junior and Jack, you can only pick one. All right, well, this is running. I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. All right. Who won the vote? Junior, Jack, and Carter. Is this going where I think it's going? Is this going where I think it's going? All right. Till the wheels fall off. Yeah, let's go second leg. Let's just see. I put the poll up. Let's just see. I don't want to assume. Look, Jack's getting some love. See, y'all are quick. Y'all are quick to move on. Look at this is closer than y'all thought. This is closer than you thought. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, he's starting to run with it. God damn it. Bruh. Are we going to be the ones to end his run? Really? We're going to be the ones to end his run? Oh, my God. All right. All right. I guess we are the ones to end it. Okay. Leg 2. God. That's crazy. Okay. Colson, Manzardo, Nito, Soler, Carey, Machado, Ty, Mook, Tuck. I guess Carey or Torque. Okay. Cool. Vote is live for leg 2. Vote is live for leg 2. Colson Manzardo here. I'm sick. This lay is going to be like plus 3,000. Either or on Jack and Junior. I wouldn't be surprised if that is not even plus money. Boost it. Leg 3 can still save it. All right, I think I know which ways this one's going as well, but I'll put it up there. Let's just check. Where y'all getting a 50% boost? Leg 3 could save it. Leg 3 could save it. Oh, I do have a 50 boost. Wow, look at that. But I have two 30s. I'll take the 50. I really was going to take the 230s, but where this is going... All right, so it's Colson. Dele was Owen Casey, Jake Bowers, Brandon Marsh. Man, I guess we can throw Josh Lowe on there. Yes, Zems. Got all the games covered here. All right, leg 3. Here's leg 3. Lone Collier long shots. I like that. He plays Mookie, Colson, and Junior, boosted and round robin. Wow. Tuck Machado, Ty France, and Mookie. All right. And leg 3. Ty France, Kyle Tucker, Manny Machado, Mookie Betts. All right. Leg 3 is up right here. Last one. Machado's running with it. Here comes Mookie. Kyle Tucker. No love for Ty France. Mookie's coming in hot. No love for Ty France. No love for Kyle Tucker either, really. Between Machado and Mookie here. Machado would get us to 5,200. Mookie gets us to 6,300. Ty gets us to 8,400. Ty really boosts that. And Tucker gets you to 7,300. Manny Machado. Manny Machado. 5 out of 6 on the do. 5 out of 6 on the do. Uh-oh. 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 I broke it. The heat wave is killing my internet. Did I even make it in there? I might have broke it. Honestly, what would you personally run or replace if you had your own choice? Probably, personally, I'd probably replace Junior. I don't know. I like to take longer odds, though. I would have probably gone like Cedric, Mullins, Colson. I don't know. Nito I'd have thrown in there maybe. But don't ask me. I don't know. That's where I go spend my next few hours trying to figure out. What did you like about Soler? He matched a few of my list builders. He matched on a few of my lists. He kept popping up. He kept popping up. So. Oh, no. It didn't submit. Oh, shit. There we go. The alternate to this would be Cedric Mullins and Ty France. This is the alternate to that. If you want a longer version of that play with similar reads on the matchups, I would keep Colson in there. Colson looks way too good on that cutter. So. All right, chat. Sending y'all out of here. I know B Brown's ending his stream, I think, so. All right. Good luck today. Come join rudebets.com. Use code RUDE for 25% off. If you haven't yet, get in here. List builder recipes. I'll start to publish some of these. I'm going to keep testing these today and find some more that work. Where's the one I liked? Really like this one. I really like this one. And there you go. Nito, Machado, Soler, all on there. Kyle Tucker's on there too. Yeah. All right, chat. I'll catch y'all in the site. Peace out. Good luck today.